It's market day! So this is a 2-day market from 10 to 5 both days, and I paid, I believe, $300 for the booth fee, and there was also an application fee of $15, I believe. So we are here, we are now set up, so let me quickly throw in my booth setup. It is now 10:07, so we're technically open. There are some people walking around, not too many yet, which is to be expected. We have made a sale already, so somebody just came up and bought a pocket octopus. So we are at $12. I do have a goal to make 2,000 over these 2 days. So it is 14 hours, so I think that's pretty doable. It's about a little less than $150 an hour, I think, in terms of sales. I did do this market last year, and we did about 1,000. I'll put the exact number up on the screen. But everyone who was returning vendors said that they did about half of what they did the year prior. So I'm hoping I'm able to double what I did last year. If not, I don't know if I'll come back this market, because 14 hours over 2 days to make 1,000 isn't, in my opinion, worth returning for. But we'll see. It's now 11:35. Sold a handful of things. Henry sold the one seahorse and an herb stripper while I was gone doing a lap of the market. And we just sold a Hershey Kiss, or an apple as the kid call it. They bought the red one. This kid was here with, I want to say their grandma, but they were in a stroller, and they kept grabbing plushies and throwing them on the ground. Watch your kids when they're here, and she knew the kid was doing it, just let the kid do it, but whatever. It's now 2:20, so we're not doing too great on our sales goal. We're at about 350, I think, and we're over halfway through our day. I know we've sold quite a few herb strippers. We sold some pink tofu turtles, and then a bunch of like one-off plushies, which is nice, but also part of my brain is sitting here like, dang it, I can't restock that item because I only had the one. I was like, why are you talking about religion?
Trying to fight back. One of my sons freaking rebels to the dark age and immediately kills on an apostle and saying to fix the problem.
No.
I can't read. What the hell?
Okay. We are on our second lemonade of the day. Don't laugh at me. We've had quite a bit of interest in the unicorn, but no takers, which is to be expected. There's one group, I think it was a dad and his 3 daughters. He told them that they all had to agree on one plushie, and they would get one and only one plushie. They all agreed on the unicorn, but he didn't want to spend $100. Understandably. So I almost told him I would drop it to $80. I don't typically discount my plushies, but I want that unicorn gone. It's been with me for about 2 years now. So I almost told him I would do $80, but I didn't tell him that. And then the kids, I guess, convinced him to each get their own, and some of them got some like medium plushies. So we ended up spending $80 with tax. I was like, oh, I wonder if he would have bought the unicorn for $80. But maybe today's the day, or this is the weekend. We'll see if the unicorn goes. I might at some point discount it though, just because I want it gone. It takes up so much space. I think it's ugly. Just the colors I chose for it, but I'm starting to wonder if my ducks and chickens have run their course. They've been a bestseller for me for years now, but it seems like the past couple of markets they haven't really been selling, which is fine. But I guess we'll see if they continue to be in my always make, or if they start to get phased out. Because I think I mentioned this already, but some of the like one-offs they're selling, like we sold the seahorse, and of course now I'm blanking on stuff. but I think this might be my sign to finally let myself out of the box of feeling like I always have to have specific plushies at markets, and maybe I'll finally be courageous enough to experiment with new patterns. So we'll see if I actually do that or not. This is what the booth is looking like at 3. So we still have all the big plushies. This is what I have in terms of Jenna's book, part 1. And then over here we've got the smaller plushies. Lots of Halloween stuff. It is now 4, so we have about an hour left of the market, and we are at $400.
Your day is done.
I really hope you can hear me over
I looked the rest of the day. Don't talk to me till Sunday.
I looked in last year on Saturday. We did $550, $450. So hopefully we can at least beat that. It looks like I did my best hour was the last hour of the market last year. But crowd-wise, it doesn't seem to be that's going to be the case today. So I think this weekend just might be a loss, but that's okay. I'm working on some more chicken frog hats. I've also made some chickens, but the issue is this is all that I have left of safety eyes. So not much more that I can do today nor tomorrow. So that's going to be the real battle of what do I do tomorrow. But the biggest issue for today has been the internet. Even though we're connected, it is taking forever to load. Check out when people are trying to do that. So I feel awkward every time, but I have to be like, sorry, you have to wait. Henry's Wi-Fi seems to be doing the best, but the current plan is he won't be here tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes tomorrow when it's just my Wi-Fi. Or a hotspot is what I mean. He has AT&T, I have Verizon, so it's nice to have options when we do markets as to whose phone does better in the area. But I'm going to keep working on these plushies and figure out what the plan is and count down until dinner, because we just kind of snacked for lunch. So we're going to go get a big dinner after this. I got about 45 minutes, and then we're only tearing the plushies down today, so it won't be too long of a tear down. This is how the booth is looking like with about 10 minutes left to go. So you can see some things are missing here and there, but not too much of a change at this table. Over here, we had quite a bit of herb strippers go. It is now day 2, so we ended day 1 with $493, so it is what it is. I set my goal ridiculously high, especially considering what I did last year, but my goal now is to just beat last year. So far we are behind. I looked up, and last year on day 1 we made $550, $450. So overall, I know we made a little over 1,000, but I don't know the exact number. But I'll throw it up on the screen in editing. But I'm very nervous. So it is now 8:41, and the market starts at 10 again today. But we got a text last night saying that, oh, it was super windy yesterday. I don't know if I mentioned that. But we got a text yesterday saying that the winds had picked up and tints were moving, and they recommended everyone came back and took their stuff home. But we live like 40 minutes away, and we're pretty sure we're fine. We had 50 pounds of weight on each leg, and I was under some trees, and all day when it was windy, it wasn't moving my tent at all. So I'm hoping I'm fine, but I'm kind of nervous, and I'm here, and we're going to now go and see if hopefully everything is still where I left it. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I took all of my plushies home last night. I did leave these stickers in Pottery behind, so hopefully everything's fine. Let's go find out. okay, we're fine. So this is how I left my tent, and it is looking the exact same today. So now I get to put it all back together. And this is the setup for day 2. So we mixed things up a bit, and now my rainbow's messed up because I just sold that light green, and I don't have another one. I tried moving ghosties up here to hopefully sell some more. That chicken I'm mad about. More Halloween. And then we've got the pottery set up. So we're finally set up for day 2. Luckily there were no issues with my tent having moved. There's nothing to worry about there. It sounds like people just had improper weight or no weight at all on their tents, which is wild for an outdoor market, especially an overnight when you're leaving your stuff. But I got here at about 8:45, and then 9 o'clock on the dot, the kiddie play fountains turned on inside people's tents. So it looks like they finally got them turned off. It is now 9:50, so we've got 10 minutes until we're officially open. So those poor vendors couldn't set up until now. Yeah, we did make 2 sales, almost 3 during setup. The first one, another vendor came up while I was setting up. So usually plushies I will just dump in my wagon and then slowly put them on the shelf. And so I had to, they asked for a chick with frog hat, said their daughter was thinking about it all last night, couldn't stop talking about it. They were gonna surprise her with it. Finally found one in my pile of plushies. Had it rung up as I was setting up the hotspot to the iPad and the card reader, and then she got a text from her husband that he actually bought it yesterday. So, oh well, that's okay. And then we sold the last candy corn bee, so those are finally gone. I've had those for at least a year, probably 2 years. And now my brain's saying, you're gonna need to make more. No, I'm never making those again. They didn't do well, and I'm not going to have those laying around for a while. But that one, the guy took out of my wagon, which is totally fine. They were there to be sold. And then someone came up and bought the light green axolotl, so now my rainbow is messed up because I only made one of each of the greens because they're the least popular seller. So now there's just a gap in my rainbow. Oh, actually we made another sale because someone bought one of my discounted mugs. I have had it since college, so 4 or 5 years now. And it was discounted to $12, so I was shocked it didn't sell earlier, but they did ask me why it was discounted, and I just said it's because I had it for a while. But I mentioned I was mad about the chicken, and that is because I came to the market with 2, and as you could probably see on my setup, usually I try to do like 2 back to back so that there's a replacement one, and then if something sells and I have an extra, I'll put it out. And I came to the market with only 2 chickens, so I specifically brought the yarn yesterday to make chickens. I made the bodies. I had stuffing, I just didn't stuff yesterday. Could have, but didn't. And then this morning I went to go trade out the yarn that I had, so I took the unstuffed plushies I made yesterday and just left them at home. So now I have 1 chicken for the day. So we'll see how that goes. It's been a little bit since I checked in. So it is now, it's just before 2, it's 1:52, and we're at 475 so far. So it says we are 64% up from yesterday. So 475 is almost what we made yesterday, and we have 3 hours to go. So hopefully we can at least beat last year.
Cool, well, no, seriously, thank you.
But a couple of things have happened. So I did have a kid steal from me, which I half saw. So I saw them over by the sticker tower, and they were spinning it around, and then it looked like they grabbed one, but I didn't see a sticker in their hand, and then I saw their hand immediately go into their pocket. But I was like, I don't care. I wasn't about to do anything about it. And then I later saw the parents brought the kid back and made him put it back. But they didn't say anything to me, which I guess is fine, but normally the parents make the kids apologize or acknowledge what they did. We've sold quite a few big things, or like medium to big things, which is nice. So I just sold a dragon. We sold a Triceratops today. I'm blanking, but I'm pretty sure we sold some other larger items. Oh, one of the ghosts, the bigger ghosts. I think the herb strippers are definitely the MVP of the market. I haven't yet looked at my numbers of what sold, but I will later and then show you in this video about how many of everything sold. I've had to go over there and scoot them in to fill in the holes, and what's nice is that it seems like each row is selling at about the same pace. So I've been able to just keep the rows of each color and just fill in those gaps. But lunch, we for sure had it's always the secret to sales. So I went to go get food, and Henry stayed here to watch the booth. I ended up having a whole mess up with lunch where because we ordered to go, they packaged it, but then threw away the ticket and then didn't give me my food. So I was sitting there for probably 30 minutes just waiting for it, and the manager had to come over and be like, "What do you mean you haven't gotten your food?" So I finally got the food, and Henry had 0 sales the entire time. He was just sitting there, and he said there's a bunch of people just looking. And then as soon as we have our food, we had a lot of buyers. So of course there's nothing going on, and then as soon as we're both trying to eat, all of a sudden people are running to buy now. I just had a cute moment. So this little kid just walked by and he held up his octo next to his face and he said, "Thank you so much for making my octopus."
You should buy this for your dad.
This is what the booth is looking like come 3 o'clock. So we have about 2 hours left of the market. So I still have quite a bit of back stock that of course are of the items that aren't really selling today. These have definitely gotten the most hit. I think we've sold 10 of them, if I did my math right, but we'll find out. So the weather today has been interesting. It is going in phases even more than yesterday of being really cold, and then right now it's perfect. I'm in the sun a little bit, and the breeze isn't really hitting, but there was a minute there where it was very breezy and the clouds were out, so I was shivering. But I did bring a hoodie, but I gave it to Henry because he forgot his. So all I have is this long sleeve. But it is now 3:20. We have officially surpassed last year's number. I don't know at what point we hit it, but we're like ever so slightly over it. So we have about a little over an hour and a half left of the market. So there's definitely people here, which is nice, and you can tell the Broncos game is over because suddenly I'm seeing people wearing Broncos merch walking around. So lots of people here. Oddly, I'm doing better than I was yesterday, which like never happens. Sunday's never really busier than Saturday. But another vendor pointed out that yesterday they had like a kid vendor event, I guess. I didn't see it when I did my lap, but I guess it was not where I looked. Like they had kids selling their crafts. So their theory is that now there's kids walking around here buying stuff. Hello.
Hi.
How much is it?
That one's 18. They're marked on the tags.
Do you have $18?
You already spent your money.
No, do you?
That's not the point. You spent your money.
But
I don't know what you
you
have.
still-
Oh, look.
Anyway, sorry, some customers walked up. A couple minutes ago, had, I at least interpreted it as rude. So she had 2 kids with her. One kid picked out something he wanted, and then the mom was like encouraging the other kid to pick something out. And then she said, "Will you give me a discount if I buy 2?" And I said, "No, sorry, I don't discount my plushies because my prices are fair. Like these take time to make." And then she immediately made her kid put the plushie down, and she was like, "Well, we're going elsewhere then. We can get a deal." Don't barter with handmade items. People put the time and energy into making these and years just to learn the craft. Like, yes, we make our own prices, but they are fair. If you want me to give you a discount, then I'll tell you that it costs more than it does, and then give you a discount so that it's what I actually was going to charge. Like, no. that's what businesses do. Even right before Black Friday is coming up, places are currently raising their prices so that it looks like there's a big deal come Black Friday, but actually it's just discounted to their normal price. Like, don't barter with small artists. No. This is what the booth looks like with 10 minutes to go, so there's not really anyone here anymore, so I doubt we'll make another sale, but we sold through quite a bit of stuff, and now I've got to restock for my market next weekend. Alright, it's time to go over results now. So the only story that I can think of is I had someone walk up. She was like, "Do you have any platypus?" And I said, "Actually, I do," and showed her the brown natural colored platypus I have. And then she looked at it and walked away. So I don't know what that was about. But it was exciting to finally be able to say, yes, I have the thing you're asking for, but then they walked away. So I don't know. But we'll go over best sellers real quick. I guess I need to calculate these before I start filming. Let's see. Okay. Number 1 bestseller. I had a feeling at the market. That is herb strippers. I sold 12 of them. So lots of those going home. All of them except one, I believe, was full price. So full price is $15, and then sometimes the glaze will run and fill the small hole. And for those, I discount those to $10. So one of them for sure was $10, and I believe the rest were all $15. Second place goes to a pocket octopus. No surprise there. And then third place goes to the pocket stingray. So about the same vein. I guess we'll do top 5. And then this one kind of makes sense if you think about the name. This was Jackalope Festival. So I sold 6 jackalope stickers. And then lastly in 5th place are the axolotls. We sold 5. So with the axolotls, I don't think the price affected them. When I looked back at the prior year for this market, I also didn't sell a lot of axolotls. So, I don't know, but I don't have any plans to lower my price back down. If you're unaware, I did raise my price about a month ago now from $18 to $21. Partially due to supply and demand, and they're not my favorite things to make, and I've made hundreds of them. So they don't seem to be affecting my sales, that price increase. A little slower, but also that's kind of the goal with raising the price for supply and demand. So then other plushies that sold. We sold 2 spiders. Only 1 possum. Like I mentioned in the vlog clips, this, for some reason, it was my not typical bestsellers that were actually selling. Well, I guess these Stingray and Octo and herb strippers sold. But I don't know. And then no mallard ducks, so that's 2 markets straight of 0 mallard duck sales. So I think it might be time to let mallard ducks go. I mean, I still have a couple, so they're going to be around for a little bit. And then we did sell 2 chickens, so technically those sold out. I don't remember if I fully mentioned in the vlog clips, but on Saturday I made a bunch of chicken bodies. I had stuffing, decided not to stuff them. Brought them home, went, the chickens didn't sell, I'll just leave these behind. Completely forgot I did sell one on Saturday, but the reason I forgot was because someone bought it as I was packing up. Like, I literally had to pull it back out of my bag that I'd already packed. So we did technically sell out of chickens, but I want to say it was later on in the day, Sunday, that second one sold, and not a lot of interest in them. Again, no mushy boys. Those are typically a bestseller. We did sell 3 tofu turtles, the 1 seahorse that I did have, and then 1 chick with frog hat. And again, those are typically very good sellers. But I mean, let me just have more for later. one booty turtle, all 3 of the jellyfish that I brought. So I did restock some for my next market, but of course I don't have the same colors that I had, so I kind of made stuff up. And then we sold 1 lizard and 1 platypus. That platypus sale was on Saturday, and then I believe the person who asked about platypus was on Sunday. We sold 2 baby squid, 1 whale, 1 dragon, and this one was all blue, no accent color, just fully blue. 2 of the chocolate kiss. Now the first one, the grandma knew what it was, but kid said it was an apple, which is totally fine. That powder, and I kind of am like, if people ask me what it is, I say it's whatever you want. I've gotten people claiming it's garlic. I've gotten people claiming it's a bomb. I've heard tons of things. And then last big plushie sold was the Trinkle Triceratops. So I'm now out of dinosaurs completely, I think. I really need to get around to making dinosaurs. Maybe next week I'll make them. I am filming this the day before my next market, so we'll have to see what all I decide to restock. I did not make any dinosaurs this week. Halloween plushies, we sold a couple. So we sold a mini ghost for $16. I sold one of the bigger ghosts for $36. Now this one I did mention when they were buying it. I said, does it have green eyes or orange eyes? Because I mentioned that the orange eyes are glow in the dark. And the dad was like, oh yeah, that's really important. They weren't switched. So I assumed he picked up the glow in the dark eyes, but then I realized later on that the one I have still is the glow in the dark eyes. So I don't know if he misunderstood me or if he wanted the non-glow in the dark eyes. We sold our last candy corn bee, so those will never be made again by me. I'm sure they sell well for some people, but that one's from at least 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. And then I also sold a mini candy corn, just the shape of the candy, not a bee. And then finally my ghost on a swing, which was also from last year of making, which ironically, my car swing animals debuted at Jackalope Festival last year. So this one was there the prior year, and it finally sold a year later. We did sell 2 crochet kits, so definitely need to restock them. They seem to do better in terms of sales when it gets closer to holidays time. I don't know if that's more for gifts or what, but one of them Henry sold while I was gone, and he almost talked them out of the sale. What a bad employee. I guess they wanted to like buy a bunch for a birthday party, and I didn't have enough at the market with me. And if I had been there, I would have pitched that I would come in person to the birthday party and tried to like sell it that way to make some money. But alas, I was not there during that sale. Stickers. We sold a handful. Now, I do sell them at different prices depending on how many they buy. So 1 sticker is $3. If you buy 2 stickers, they're $5. Or if you buy 10 stickers, it's $5. So it comes out to $2, $2.50, or $3 for my stickers. So they kind of vary. But I only sold 1 of the frog with flag sticker, and that would be a progress flag. And then I sold 2 Biceratops. I already mentioned, but the 6 Jackalope stickers, which this sticker was designed last year specifically for this market, and I will give credit to Henry where he came up with the idea and just told me to draw it. And then I also sold 4 non-Binosaur stickers, 2 panda stickers, and then 2 of my trick-or-treat dinosaur stickers. For pottery, we did sell a decent amount. So I already mentioned we sold 12 herb strippers. So that's definitely something I need to restock a lot of pottery. But I just need to get into the studio. And currently I still have my wedding nails, and I kind of want to hold on to them as long as I can. They are acrylic, so they added on to the length of my nail. And you can't throw with long nails. So I've been procrastinating. doing that because I don't want to make my nails short again. But in terms of mugs, we sold 3. One of them was $12. I mentioned earlier in the vlog clips that it was discounted. I've had it since college. It was actually wood fired, so it's a pretty cool cup. It's a boring, pretty cool cup, but it's been discounted for a while and finally sold. And then I sold one mug for $22 and then one for, oh sorry, only 2 mugs. The $12 mug and then the $32 mug. $22 was a bowl that I just put on my spreadsheet wrong. I sold my final ceramic ghost that was left over from last year for $27, and then one of my 4-inch square plates for $10. Bringing the grand total of this market to $1,288. Now, I want to address the beginning where I said I had a goal to make $2,000 in the 2 days. I do stand by that goal. I think if you are at a multi-day market, you should be able to expect $1,000 a day. Now, I did do this market the year prior, having just made over, I think it was $1,011, and all of the returning vendors had said that they had made half of what they previously made. So I was hoping last year was a fluke, and I'm still kind of on the fence about whether I'll do this market again next year, because if you take the $12.88 while I was there for 14 hours of sales time, I did not make $100 an hour, and I feel like that's like the bare minimum. You should at least make $100 of sales an hour. Now, that is not wage of me getting paid $100 an hour, because most of the wage is coming from actually having made the product. But we might be moving next year to a different state. We still don't know. We should hopefully find out by mid-November what's happening, especially because the move would be end of February. So we've got to figure that out. But assuming we don't move, I have not yet decided if I will return to this market. The problem is I love jackalopes, but that shouldn't be a reason to do a market just because it's named after a fictional character you like. Sorry, not fictional, mythical. Henry is on team Do It Again simply because the jackalope sticker does the best at this market, but it sells at other markets as well. You've seen my other market day videos. You've seen it sold. I'm not disappointed that I didn't make the 2,000. I do realize that was kind of reaching really far, but I'm not upset. I'm not satisfied. Kind of in the middle there. So it was a market. Now, the part that really matters is whether or not I profited. So I'll jump over here real quick and I'll throw up all the numbers. So this one did have an application fee. It had a hefty booth fee. My spreadsheet calculates for what all sold approximately how much materials went into the items that sold and approximately how much wage went into what sold. I am still figuring out the pottery part of it. All of my pottery, I believe, is priced too low, but the crochet is pretty accurate of about how long it takes me to make a plushie. And then I do pay myself to work the market. Just because it's my business doesn't mean I shouldn't get paid to be there. That was, and I only calculate out for actual sales hours, so that's not even counting setup and teardown. Nor is that counting Henry. But some people put in gas or credit card fees, but those things are pretty negligible to me, so I don't typically look into those. But that brings the profit of this market to about $70. And that's also where I'm happy I profited. If I did not profit and lost money to like wage and all of that, it would definitely be a no-go. But 14 hours of sitting there for the business to profit $70, I don't know, especially if you look at last market video, I profited $200 in 4 hours. So, not sure if I'd go back or not. But again, I'm not mad about the sales that I made. I'm very grateful for every sale that I get. It was a nice weekend weather-wise. For the most part, about the last 2 hours on Sunday, I was pretty cold and shivering because I packed 2 layers for myself and reminded Henry of the weather, but did he bring a hoodie? No. So I gave him mine, which I was fine until about the last 2 hours of Sunday. Saturday was really windy, and then Sunday was about 10 degrees colder. So I probably should have brought my ear warmers to this market, but I forgot Saturday, and then I remembered Sunday after I'd left, and Henry was still home, but he didn't want to come upstairs. He was already downstairs in the garage. My math was totally wrong. It was actually $43 of profit. So pretty well breaking even. So I don't know if this is a market to return to. But I mean, you'll see next year whether we move or not, and then whether I do this market again. I did speak to one of the vendors so she sells chocolate or brownies and cookies and stuff. And she was one of the people who the year prior had said that she was down about half, and she said she was back up to her typical sales. So this might just not be the market for me. Not sure. But an interesting part was Sunday was better sales than Saturday, which I don't know if ever happened. But Saturday was $4.93 and Sunday was $7.95. So, not sure what's up with that. Anyways, I don't think I have anything more to throw in about this market. I do have another one tomorrow, which should be coming out shortly on the channel. But, wish me luck at it. I did pay $3.57 for a one-day market. But I've done a similar market to this in April, and I did really well at it. So I'm hoping to duplicate the results. But don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I have a ton of market videos coming out soon. Lots and lots of markets for the holiday season. If you enjoyed this video, also hit that like button. And then let me know down in the comments whether or not you would go back to this market based on the stats I told you. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!